Good afternoon, folks, and here's a wonderful little post from an article off Bustle. This time it's from comicbook.com. So I'm not going to go to Bustle because that's kind of a silly website, and there's all kinds of photos of Daisy Ridley there, and I'm like, okay, is this a photo shoot or is this a post? What is it? So comicbook.com reports about the rise of Skywalker star Daisy Ridley, addresses the vicious social media fans. And when we're talking about social media, you know YouTube, guys, of course. You know how amazing these commenters are, at least on my videos. So let's see what she has to say. She made her debut with Star Wars Force Awakens as she became the central figure of the sequel trilogy. Yes, while most fans of the series appreciated a female character taking the series spotlight, and most of us don't really care, other fans flooded social media with hateful remarks about the character, as they should have. Now, whether or not you like or dislike what a Mary Sue is, or even know what that is, you should be able to appreciate, just by using your brain, that, something is not right in the state of Denmark when it comes to main characters, when your main character can seemingly do anything on first try. And obviously, how you express that online can't really do that in 140 characters on Twitter very well. So it might be easier just to scream and shout, and then scream and shout that in text. Ridley herself ultimately deactivated her social media account, wise choice. Yet she's still fully aware of the toxicity that runs rampant on various services. Now, this word has no meaning. I don't know who invented it or associated it with social media or men or women or whatever. It has no meaning. What does it mean to be toxic online? Does it mean to be swearing at everyone? That's not a problem. Does it mean to have some good points and then get angry or emotional? Again, not a problem. I don't understand the concept, but that's fine. This is not for me to get emotional or confused about what this word means. The actress recently opened up about how disheartening it is to see the hard work of everyone involved with bringing the series to life getting completely trashed on social media. Well, you could have hundreds of people, as there were, or thousands in some cases, with Star Wars franchise, and they could all be excellent at their job. They could be amazing artists and engineers or whatever, building the sets, building the props. But if the script isn't there, it's all for naught. It's a big, giant visual and audio spectacle with a horrible message, with a horrible story, with horrible characters, etc. So that's the main criticism that you'll get, or the general criticism you'll get, that we're not saying, this gaffer here, he held the light too close to Daisy Ridley's face. We're not ever going to say that unless it's really blatantly bad. We're looking at what the value of the product was as a whole, and then we're also looking at specific individual elements, which could be blamed on the gaffer, on the key grip, on the costume designer. You could definitely argue the waste of resources that Canto Bight was on many levels. Anyway, we'll continue. It's great that people are expressive of their views, but this is people's jobs. I don't care. I really don't care if, again, these people's jobs are very good. They do a very good job. The artists do a very good job. People behind the scenes do a very good job, but if it's not in service of a good script, it's all for naught. People worked really, really hard on that thing. No one is saying they didn't. I think there's a way of having a discussion that isn't so vicious. Yes, there is, but I think her confusion is misplaced or her anger here is misplaced because I haven't heard anyone say, the people who worked on the project, aside from the writer, were bad. You could say some of the actors. You could argue Daisy didn't do such a great job. You could argue Mark didn't do such a great job. You could argue all these things. But I don't think you'll ever do it in a vicious way that's constructive. So, and I don't think I've ever said anything horrible on social media about the product I didn't have backed up with video evidence or critique. So, Ridley noted that social media has given users a false sense of importance. No kidding. Pointing out, because if you've got many followers, I don't have that many compared to other people out there, and you write something that you think is so deep, well, I don't think something is deep. I know Star Trek Episode 8 is not deep. And you could consider that deep depending on how much effort I put into it, or a critiquer did put effort into. But It's not some sort of philosophical moment for me. I'm just sort of looking at it and going, yeah, this is crap. And 100 people like it, it's constant reinforcement. This is true. I mean, I generally don't care when I launch a tweet. It's either to share something cool or to laugh at people who don't know what they're talking about. And that's it. I will share my links to my videos, but I've never gotten 100 people. I think I only have a few hundred followers anyway. And it's not a big deal. So for Ridley, who's obviously a huge star, obviously she must have had at least hundreds of thousands of followers, if not millions, whenever she had her social media account. Of course she's going to get bombed. That's natural. While deactivating her social media accounts might have cut down on the harassment she has to endure, she revealed a recent interaction in which someone was seemingly emboldened to voice their negative opinions directly to her face. Oh my goodness. Someone didn't like what she had to do. Well, if you're an actor, that's pretty normal. I mean, you go to auditions, you get turned down all the time. Unless, of course, you're a huge star and everyone loves you, and it's like you could pick and choose, which I guess as a result of being popular in Star Wars, she could now do. I don't know. I was at my friend's birthday, and one of her friends, who I barely know, was like, hey, really liked the first Star Wars, didn't really like the second one. That's it? And I thought, that's rude, dude. That's my job. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so sorry, Miss Moneybags and Miss Popularity here. This guy, I mean, I don't know the tone of the delivery of this line, but if someone comes up to you and says, hey, really like the first thing you didn't really like the second thing you did. It's like, cool. That's just your opinion, man. I mean, if this is it, how often has someone done something and a lot of people go like, hey, that's great or that's good, and then someone goes, no, that's a piece of crap. Happens all the time. Happens to me almost daily because I release crappy videos every day. And I'm like, yeah, it is crap, but even if it's something I'm proud of and I know is excellent and someone says to me is not so good, I'll be like, okay, not for everyone, unless they have some actual relevant points. If they have some actual evidence they can look to and say, look at that. See that? That's crap. And you're like, well, why is that? Well, look at how this works. It doesn't work well. If they have a practical example, then you can have a conversation. But this line, I highly doubt was a line that got her to quit Twitter or social media. This is a very matter of fact, I just didn't like it. Didn't really like the second one. It's like, yeah. Did he explain himself why? He didn't say, I didn't like you in it. He just said, I didn't like the movie Star Wars. And then I didn't like the second one you were in. Or not even that. He was referring to the movie as a whole. So I guess she's just being hyperbolic. She's talking from an experience that she's sort of watering down and just trying to appear sensitive. I don't know, but this is ridiculous. This is a really stupid thing to be angry of. Oh, it's my job. Yeah, and you're a millionaire and you are crazy popular. What the hell are you getting angry over? Someone not liking your work. Ridley is understandably defensive. Yet she doesn't feel that the films should be immune to criticism. Okay. While she doesn't think fans should be as vicious on social media, again, we're talking about words, not tone. Again, we don't know the tone or context of this conversation she had, but social media is just a bunch of sentences and animated GIFs. She understands that these attitudes are sparked by how passionate fans are of the series and that their objections are fair. So she admits that. Yeah, we covered that before. I wasn't surprised. No, Ridley shared with USA Today when asked about the backlash to Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's just a different thing. Everyone's going to have an opinion now anyway on the internet, but I also think it's fair. Yeah, she said that before. Okay. It doesn't mean that they were ultimately Ryan's a filmmaker and one person can't dictate how a film is supposed to be, but freedom of expression, sure. Again, she is just an actor or actress saying her lines, standing where she's supposed to stand, and acting the way she's supposed to act. Her job is not to interpret. Her job is to be a good little soldier and do her job. That is how she is trained. That is how you are trained as an actor. Yes, you can help express the filmmaker's or the writer's perspective, but ultimately you are there to promote your work, and you happen to be a small part of it, even if you're the face of it. So naturally, she would say something like this, which is not good, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, this is almost I wouldn't say a first world problem. This is like a rich actor problem, a rich popular actor problem. I had to stop talking to the fans because there were so many of them. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe you should hire someone to control your Twitter if you really wanted social media. Although, why would you hire someone to control your social media unless you're a politician? It seems kind of awkward to go through all that effort. But I found this kind of funny, entertaining to read about, that there's some famous people out there who can't take criticism and they cut off their social media. Ooh, Daisy Ridley. Alas, what shall we do? And it turns out she's not going to be making any more Star Wars movies, but as of yet, we don't know. So thanks, guys, for listening. I'll see you in the next one.